relationship that's so imbalanced and with such a powerful person and an older man and at the beck and call. I see how sad it was, but that is not how I felt at the time.
Can you give me an example of that would say to me that this was more than just being a mistress?
Just the way he was, the way he smiled with me. I feel that he did. I feel that he actually cared about me.
Meredith is back here in the studio with us. As you well know, based only on the snippets people have seen,
Sure.
We've already received a lot of response, a lot of emails. People with the upbringing sounds like a lot of us with a picture of John F. Kennedy in the house when we were kids, wondering, why do this now? Why tell her story now?
Well, I think people have to realize that she did not reveal her secret initially. She was outed in 2003 by historian Robert Dallek, who wrote about her in his biography of JFK. Just a few words that generated a firestorm. The press caught on to it. Her name was revealed. At that point, she issued a written statement and then disappeared. But in the years that followed, she saw her story being reduced to paragraphs in other people's books and decided she wanted to claim it as her own. And also, she wanted to unburden herself of this secret that she had kept for so long, because it was, in her estimation, really destroying her life and her relationships with men moving forward. So for her, this book was a catharsis.
I'm glad you're going to be with us tonight to talk more about this as the questions arise, as people see it.
And there'll be a lot of them.
There will be a lot of them. Thank you, Meredith, for being with us tonight. There'll be much more, again, of Meredith's interview with Mimi Alford on tonight's Rock Center in our due time slot at 9/8 Central. When we come back here tonight after a break, is your doctor giving you the whole story and what we're able to see tonight from way up there.
Capitol Hill, the campaign trail, it's all here. The best reporting, the power of NBC News, all in one place. Share, follow, check in right now. NBCPolitics.com.
We've been showing you a lot of the insanely spectacular northern lights this winter, the nighttime light show from Europe to New England to the Upper Plains to Canada, a result of that intense solar activity. Now we know what it looks like from above, thanks to our friends on the International Space Station. While the video here is accelerated, it actually takes 90 minutes to orbit the Earth. At one point, clearly flying right over Detroit and Chicago, and along the way, enjoying a view so few of us will ever get to see in our lifetime. Fellow space geeks can see a ton, many more of these videos on our website, and they are spectacular. The NASA family, in fact, is also dealing with some bad news today. Word of the death overnight of Janice Voss, a veteran astronaut who flew 5 shuttle missions, one of 6 women to fly at least 5 times on the shuttle, a proud product of both Purdue and MIT. She logged over 49 days in space, 18 million miles traveled, circled the Earth 779 times. She lost her battle with cancer at the age of 55. And it's official, the job approval rating of Congress is at an all-time low of 10%. Americans have never held their elected representatives in lower regard than they do right now. 10% number is the lowest in the history of the Gallup polling organization. May be a harbinger of big changes coming in November. And here's a sign of our real estate times and the economy in general. If you know the Atlanta skyline, then you know the Bank of America tower at over 1,000 feet tall. It's now been auctioned off on the courthouse steps just like a used farm tractor. Winning bid, $235 million, a little more than half what the former owners paid for it back in '06. It reminded some folks today of the sale of the Washington, D.C. headquarters of the National Mortgage Bankers Association a couple of years back. Also a sale that brought in about half what the owners paid. What does it all tell us about the real estate market? The inventor of the atomic fireball has died. And more than that, Nello Ferrara was the founder of Chicago's Ferrara Pan Candy Company, also brought us Lemon Heads and Red Hots and those fake Boston baked beans. His son said Ferrara came up with the idea for atomic fireballs while serving in the U.S. Army War Crimes Tribunal in post-war Japan. He was 93 years old. And what does this tell you about your family doctor? A new survey shows more than half of all doctors admit they haven't told patients the whole truth when discussing a prognosis, instead making things seem a little bit bigger than they know them to be. The author of this survey, a Harvard researcher, says she doesn't think doctors are trying to be dishonest at all, but trying to give people hope. So, unless your physician is one of those give-it-to-me-straight types, be sure to ask your doc if it's really okay to make plans for the weekend. Up next here tonight, changing the world one meal at a time.
When you want to stay connected, NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams is there. Our entire newsroom, the stories we put on the air, and everything that didn't make it. America's most watched newscast, whenever and wherever you want it.
Time for our Making a Difference report. And here's the question tonight. What if you could help make the world better just by having dinner with your friends? That is the very simple idea behind a nationwide organization of women here in this country who are helping women and girls half a world away. The story from NBC's Kristen Dahlgren.
It's Girls' Night Out in San Jose, California. Good food, giggles, some glasses of wine. But this ladies' night isn't about these women as much as these. A group of girls in Guatemala living in extreme poverty.
Basically, a group of people get together to share a meal and learn about a grassroots nonprofit organization.
Dining for Women started small, almost a decade ago.
I invited 20 of my friends for dinner, and we raised over $700, and we started meeting every month.
There are now 8,000 members in more than 38 states.
The women figured you would spend a lot for a spread like this in a restaurant, so it's not required, but most make a donation, whatever they think they would spend for a night out.
The average donation nationwide is about $32, so it's not a lot, but when everybody does that, it turns into $42,000.
Every month they send that money to a new charity. They've helped hundreds of girls escape sex slavery in Nepal, saved lives with sterile birth kits in Tibet, supported an embroidery business in Afghanistan, and sponsored a girls' school in Kenya.
I know I can.
They've transformed the lives of up to 500,000 women and girls, and somehow, in empowering them, they do the same for themselves.
I learn a lot. I learn an incredible amount. It expands my life. That's the thing.
Potlucks with a purpose.
Together, we continue to make a difference with each meal we as a group of friends share.
A simple meal making a significant impact. Kristen Dahlgren, NBC News, San Jose, California.
And that's our broadcast on a Wednesday night. Thank you for being here with us. I'm Brian Williams. Of course, we hope to see you right back here tonight for Rock Center at 9, 8 Central in our new time slot. And then tomorrow night, of course, for another edition of Nightly News. Good night.